October in Milwaukee had become a bittersweet ritual, pride mixed with heartbreak. Each year, as the leaves turned and the air grew crisp, hope would rise in the hearts of Brewers fans, only to be tested once again. The city's love for baseball was unwavering, but the memories of past disappointments lingered like a chill in the autumn wind. For 6 straight seasons, from 2019 to 2024, the Brewers made the postseason, only to fall short each time. Each October brought a new chance, a fresh start, but also the weight of expectations and the sting of what could have been. The heartbreaks were etched into the city's collective memory. Walk-off losses, missed opportunities, and dreams dashed in the final innings. The city rallied, the lights shone, and then came the crushing defeat. Year after year, Milwaukee's skyline glowed with anticipation, only to be dimmed by the pain of another early exit. The echoes of cheers turned to silence, and the streets emptied as fans processed another season that ended too soon. Fans wore this history like a heavy cloak, each playoff run met with cautious optimism. The excitement was always tinged with anxiety, as if everyone in the city was holding their breath, waiting to see if this year would be different. Generations of fans, young and old, shared in the emotional roller coaster, united by hope and haunted by the past. The scars of close calls and early exits fueled a desperate hope for change. Every loss left its mark, but it also strengthened the resolve of the fan base. The longing for a breakthrough became a rallying cry, echoing through the city's bars, living rooms, and ballparks. As October 12, 2025 arrived, that familiar tension returned, but this time, something felt different. The city awoke with a sense of anticipation, as if the air itself was charged with possibility. There was a quiet confidence, a belief that maybe, just maybe, the narrative was about to change. The Brewers faced the Cubs in a decisive Game 5, the stakes higher than ever. The rivalry added another layer of intensity, and every pitch, every swing, felt monumental. The entire city seemed to pause, eyes glued to the field, hearts pounding with every play. Another loss would deepen the wound, but a win could finally rewrite the story. The tension was palpable, as if the outcome of this game would define not just a season, but an era. The hopes of a city rested on every moment, every decision, every ounce of effort from the team. Milwaukee buzzed with nervous energy, from downtown taverns to quiet suburbs. In every corner of the city, people gathered, families, friends, strangers, bound together by a shared dream. The city's heartbeat quickened, pulsing with anticipation and longing. The city stood at the edge, remembering the pain but daring to hope. It was a moment suspended between past and future, where anything felt possible. The collective spirit of Milwaukee was on full display, resilient and unbroken. This team felt special, the season touched by a unique magic. There was a sense of unity, of destiny, that set this group apart from those that came before. The players believed, and so did the city. As the day wore on, belief began to bubble up. The cautious optimism of the morning gave way to genuine excitement, as fans allowed themselves to imagine a different ending. Maybe, just maybe, this was the night the ghosts of October's past would be banished. The city held its breath, united in hope, ready to embrace whatever came next. The city yearned for a new chapter, one that didn't end in heartbreak. Tonight, everything could change. For Milwaukee, this was more than just a game. It was a chance to finally let go of the weight of October's past and believe in the promise of tomorrow. The road to Game 5 was paved with dominance and belief. The 2025 Brewers finished 97-65, storming to the NL Central title. They didn't sneak into the playoffs, they kicked the door down. The team blended veteran leadership with young talent, guided by Pat Murphy's steady hand. Every player knew their role, and the chemistry was undeniable. The Brewers won with power, speed, and a pitching staff that shut down the league's best. They answered every challenge, never letting slumps define them. The city watched the wins pile up, hope growing with each month. By season's end, Milwaukee believed this team wasn't just good, they were built for October. Now it was time to prove it on the biggest stage. The Brewers' stars shone brightest in 2025. Christian Yelich led with 29 home runs and 103 RBIs, anchoring the lineup and the clubhouse. Bryce Terang broke out, hitting .288 with 18 homers and stellar defense. Jackson Chourio electrified fans, delivering power, speed, and a 6-game hitting streak entering Game 5. William Contreras was a rock behind the plate, steady and patient. Each player brought something unique, forming a perfect blend of youth and experience. They delivered in clutch moments all season. Now, they stood ready to cement their legacy. The NLDS against the Cubs was a roller coaster. Milwaukee took the first 2 games at home, the crowd electric. But in Chicago, the Cubs clawed back, winning games 3 and 4. The Brewers' bats went silent, and anxiety crept in. Suddenly, the series was tied, and all momentum belonged to the Cubs. The city faced a familiar nightmare, a winner-take-all Game 5. Doubt and hope battled in every fan's mind. The stage was set for a classic showdown. For Milwaukee, it was more than a game, it was a chance to conquer history. On October 11, 2025, Milwaukee held its breath. The city, draped in the colors of hope and history, seemed to pause as the sun dipped below the horizon. Every street, every home, every heart was tuned to the same frequency, a mix of nerves and anticipation that electrified the air. The city was united by nervous anticipation. This was no ordinary game day. From the youngest fans clutching their first tickets to lifelong supporters wearing faded caps, everyone felt the magnitude of what was at stake. Conversations were hushed, glances exchanged, everyone feeling the weight of the moment. In bars and living rooms, people gathered in small groups, sharing stories of past heartbreaks and daring to dream of triumph. Sports radio buzzed with anxious predictions, but no one felt safe. Callers debated lineups and pitching matchups, their voices tinged with both hope and fear, as if speaking the outcome aloud might tip the scales. The day crawled by, every hour thick with tension. Time seemed to slow, each minute stretching out as fans counted down to the first pitch, their routines interrupted by the gravity of the occasion. As evening approached, anxiety turned to defiant hope. The city's collective spirit began to shift, and determination replaced doubt. Faces glowed in the golden light, eyes shining with belief. Blue and gold flags appeared everywhere. Fans donned jerseys and fired up backyard grills. The aroma of barbecue mingled with the crisp autumn air, and laughter echoed through neighborhoods as families and friends gathered to share the moment. This was more than a game. It was a citywide event. Streets filled with people making their pilgrimage to the stadium, while others transformed their homes into shrines of support, every window and porch a testament to their faith in the team. By sunset, Milwaukee was a sea of blue and gold, ready to roar. The city pulsed with energy, united in purpose, as the final rays of sunlight painted the sky in team colors. Years of disappointment had forged a resilient hope. The scars of past seasons only made the belief stronger, binding fans together in a shared story of perseverance. Fans believed in Yelich, Chourio, Turang, and in each other. Heroes wore both uniforms and street clothes, and the city's faith was as much in its people as in its players. Tonight, they would carry the city's dreams into American Family Field. Every step toward the gates was a step into history, each fan a vital part of the unfolding drama. The time for hope was over. It was time to make history. As the lights blazed to life and the crowd's roar swelled, Milwaukee stood ready, not just to witness, but to believe in the impossible. Game 5's atmosphere was electric. 40,000 fans, one purpose. The stadium pulsed with energy, every cheer echoing years of frustration and hope. Players were greeted as heroes. The crowd was a tidal wave of emotion. The pre-game ovation shook the building, belief radiating from every seat. As the first pitch was thrown, anticipation hung thick in the air. Every pitch, every swing, every out was life or death for the fans. The Cubs faced relentless boos. The Brewers were lifted by a deafening home crowd. This was more than a game. It was a battle for the city's soul. Milwaukee was ready to defend its house. The game was a masterpiece of tension and drama, a contest that felt destined to be remembered for years to come. From the very first pitch, the energy in the stadium was electric, every fan on the edge of their seat, knowing they were witnessing something special. The Cubs struck first, capitalizing on a rare defensive miscue to take an early lead. But the Brewers didn't flinch. Their dugout was a picture of focus and resolve, determined not to let the moment slip away. In the third inning, Bryce Turang stepped up and delivered a clutch double, driving in the tying run. The crowd erupted, their cheers echoing through the night as hope surged back into the stands. It was a pivotal moment that shifted the momentum. The middle innings became a chess match between the pitchers, each side trading zeros, every pitch and every defensive play magnified by the stakes. The tension was palpable, with every at-bat feeling like it could change the game. Then, in the sixth, Christian Yelich delivered the moment everyone had been waiting for, a towering two-run homer that sent the stadium into a frenzy. The roar of the crowd was deafening, a wave of emotion crashing over the city. It was more than just a lead. It was a cathartic release for Milwaukee, a city hungry for postseason glory. Fireworks lit up the sky as fans hugged strangers, united in joy and relief. The bullpen took over, shutting down the Cubs with clutch pitching and nerves of steel. Every reliever who took the mound seemed to feed off the crowd's energy, determined to protect the lead. Every out brought the crowd closer to eruption. Fans stood, clapped, and held their breath with every pitch, the tension building with each passing inning. The Brewers' defense was flawless, making every routine and spectacular play under immense pressure. The pressure mounted with each pitch, but the team never wavered. Fans chanted, cheered, and counted down the outs, their voices growing louder with every strike and every catch. The entire stadium moved as one, willing their team to the finish line. The ghosts of October's past faded with every strike. Milwaukee could taste victory, the weight of history slowly lifting as the final outs approached. The team refused to follow the old script. This was their moment, a new chapter written with grit, heart, and belief. They played for each other and for the city that never stopped believing. The city believed, this time it would end differently. For one unforgettable night, hope and joy filled the air, and Milwaukee stood together, ready for whatever came next. The ninth inning arrived, 3 outs from history. The closer took the mound, the stadium a vortex of sound. First batter, 3 pitches, 1 out. Second batter, a tense battle, then a ground out to Turang, 2 outs. The crowd was delirious, 1 out away from the NLCS. Final batter, strike 1, strike 2, the noise deafening. The closer delivered the final pitch, a swinging strike 3. Game over. American Family Field exploded in joy, years of heartbreak washed away. Players mobbed the mound, fans hugged, cried, and screamed. The curse was broken. Milwaukee had done it. The Brewers were moving on. The city's dream was real. This was the moment they'd waited for. A new chapter had begun. The celebration spilled into Milwaukee's streets, horns blaring, chants echoing. Bars overflowed with fans reliving every moment. This was more than a win. It was a cultural touchstone. Generations of fans, united by hope and heartbreak, finally tasted triumph. The victory connected Milwaukee's past to a brighter future. The narrative of disappointment was over. Resilience and pride took its place. The Brewers embodied the city's spirit, gritty, humble, and relentless. As dawn broke, Milwaukee felt transformed. The ghosts of October's past were gone. For the first time in years, the future of Brewers baseball was limitless.